Good morning you guys, it's Karen and I have got an Empties for you, and oh my goodness, I should know this Empties off by heart by now because I've recorded it twice at least, possibly 3 times, and I've lost the footage, I've had technical problems. Anyway, here we go again, and I'm going to start with this. This is the ColourB4 Hair Colour Remover. This is what I have just used on my hair to remove the dye that isn't supposed to be permanent or even semi-permanent. In fact, let me show you those. Well, this one wasn't so bad. This was Infused My Colour Ruby shampoo. That one was okay. It didn't really show up too much, which is why I've not used that last little bit. But this is the one that I've been using for a long time. It's the Scott Cornwall Colour Restore Deep Red Temporary Colour, and it's just like a conditioner. And I started using this one versus my favourite, which was the Schwarzkopf Live in Pillar Box Red, because that one changed from being wash out in, I think it was 10 to 12 washes, to 12 to 28 washes, and it became a semi-permanent colour. And I don't ever want to use something that's, oh sorry, shaking your butt, that's permanent or semi-permanent. So I changed to this one, but this one stuck in my hair as well. So this is the second time I've been experimenting with colour removers, and I really like this one because it's the only one that doesn't, out of the 2 that I've tried, is the only one that doesn't make my hair feel like straw. The other one I used was in the bright silver packaging in Boots. I think it's the Boots own one. Something Max I used, but I think that was just the type, like you can get a frequent and a Max, Condition Max or something like that. And that one made my hair feel terrible, and I was like, well, I'm just never dyeing my hair again. You may remember I came on and said, that's it, never dyeing my hair again, because I used the colour remover. Yes, it worked, but my hair felt terrible. But this one doesn't. It makes my hair feel, hopefully you can see, it's still, you know, in good condition. It doesn't feel dry at all. And I think I've washed it once since using this. So yeah, no problems at all with this. The only thing I would say with this, 2 things. One, the smell is super strong. I had to put the little mask on that I use for grooming when I was using this, because it really does feel like it's overpowering me. And before using the mask, I had to step out the bathroom and I was like, wow, it makes me feel like I'm going to get wheezy, you know. So it's really, really strong. And the other thing is you have to rinse it for 20 minutes, which is really hard on not just me with joint problems, but I think anybody on your back, if you're leaning over on your joints, you have to rinse it for 20 minutes. If you don't rinse it for 20 minutes, you will be left with the eggy smell in your hair. And so it's really important to do that. With Empties, I don't link everything, but I will try and link that for you. Anything that I'm like, you really need to get this, I'll link it for you. And by the way, I've got another box of it because I think I still need to take some of the colour out. I don't know, I'll put a couple of pictures in of my hair at its natural colour, which is strawberry blonde, and see if it still looks like, if ever there's any red in my hair, this camera picks it up. So we'll stick on hair. I bought the Junk the Gunk Deep Cleansing Shampoo. This was a bit of a surprise because it's black and it's got like little granules in it. It's like an exfoliated wash, that's what it felt like. So I thought, odd, but I'll try it anyway, you know, because it's supposed to like revitalise your scalp, and it's got charcoal in it to take out everything from your hair. I didn't like this at all as a shampoo. I used it, and what I felt like was when I was rinsing my hair, I could feel that the little grains, whatever they are, salt, sugar, weren't coming out of my hair. They were still in my hair, and it was just a really, really weird feeling. So why is this empty, or almost empty? Because I feel like I'm wasteful, as are a lot of YouTubers, and I'm trying to find ways to not be as wasteful and at least use the things I buy. And so I've used this as a body scrub or a body wash, if you like, because it's not too scrubby, and I really enjoyed it. It actually smells really nice. Not something I'd buy again for that purpose, but I figured I would use it up for that, and yeah, it was actually really good. Another hair item is the Got To Be Beach Matte Texturizing Salt Spray. I wish I could find another purpose for this, but I can't think of one. But this was sitting on my shelf, and I had been watching videos on how to get your curls to stay in your hair, because mine just don't stay in my hair, although I think I've got a new idea of what to do. Anyway, one of the things I was watching, one of the videos I was watching said, as long as you've got a salt spray or a texturizing spray that you can use, your curls will stay. So I tried this on my hair last time, in the last video you saw me with curls in. I hated the feeling of it. It didn't make my curls last any longer, otherwise I might have considered keeping it and using it again, but it just instantly made my hair feel dry, and I hate that feeling. So yeah, like I said, I don't know what to do with that. This is the Sun Swim and Gym conditioner for dry damaged hair that I showed you in my best hair of 2019, and it no longer exists. I went into the main Boots store in Edinburgh to see if there was any left on the shelves. I've had a look in another couple of Boots since, and no, it's now replaced by, I don't think it's called Sunswim and Gin, but it's kind of that idea, but it's nothing like this. It's thick, this is thin, it smells like coconut, this smells like argan oil, so I'm really sad about that. This is the Argan Oil of Morocco mask by Herbal Essences. I love the scent of this. This smells almost like, I would certainly use this as a body wash. I would maybe even use it as a perfume. I've just thought of something I can do with this. I can use this as a kind of smoother in my hair. You know, like to smooth away frizzes. The only thing is, I don't know, I'll get it all in my nails because it's so far down there. But like just rubbing some between your hands. I've done that with conditioner before and just putting it in your hair to smooth down any frizzes. There's not many now, but when I blow dry my hair, I do get a lot. Anyway, you guys that have been with me for a while will know that I don't really like hair masks because I like my conditioner to be thin. I feel like if anything's thick, it just sits on the hair. It doesn't sink in. Whereas if you put a thin conditioner on, my hair just drinks it in, you know, and that seems to work for me. And I just feel like they're a thicker, more expensive version of the conditioner. And if you leave the conditioner in for half an hour or an hour, you know, that does the same thing. But I tend to buy one if there's something new and I like the smell. And especially now I'm trying to find cruelty-free hair and it's really difficult, then I'll go for it. So I have tried this, but you can see there's still a bit left. It was thick, so it didn't feel like it completely absorbed into my hair, and it was nice enough. It didn't weigh my hair down or anything, but my hair felt greasy pretty quickly, so it's just obviously not light enough for me. And the final hair item, I think, is this. This is the Bedhead TG Maxed Out Hairspray. So it's a non-aerosol hairspray, which is why I liked it and bought it in the first place. Massive hold. I didn't find it to be particularly massive hold, and when this started to run out, although it's taken a long time since then to use it, I bought the Weller gel spray and found that to be exactly the same. So even if I wasn't looking for cruelty free, because the Weller one isn't cruelty free either, I wouldn't repurchase this. I would go for a gel spray. That's what I'd look for versus this. It was okay, but not brilliant. Okay, one tan item and then we're on to skincare. So this is the Isle of Paradise Medium Glow Clear Self Tanning Mousse. Do you remember I did a new at the drugstore and I had bought a lot of the Isle of Paradise tans? I mean, I'm talking about a year ago at least. I'd bought their serum definitely and something else from the range, and it went patchy on me, so I thought, there's definitely something, my skin doesn't do well with fake tan. You know, it takes a lot for it to not go patchy. I don't know why. But I know that my skin works well with clear mousses. So when I saw that they'd got a clear mousse out, I thought I'd give it another go. Used this and it did look really nice. The colour was really nice. I used it on my face and neck and it came out lovely. But the day after I had applied it, no, 2 days after I'd applied it, so it developed, and then the day after that it started coming off patchy, and that's what I hate, just all here. And I'm probably patchy enough, you know, with my lines, that I don't need extra patchiness. It was really quite obvious, so unfortunately that doesn't work for me either. Skincare, this is in fact I've got two things in this category, which are clay masks. This one is the Clinique Anti-Blemish Solutions Oil Control Cleansing Mask, and this one is the Alex Steiner, so from Primark, Super Detox Clay Mousse Face Mask. These are both lovely. I wouldn't repurchase this because it's not cruelty free, but this one, I just don't use masks, full stop. The occasional time I use masks is when I'm on holiday. I will tend to take myself 2 little sachets or a little pot. I'll take like the ordinary AHA and BHA in a tiny little pot with me. But I don't, sometimes even then I forget or I don't feel like it. But when I'm at home, I just don't use masks. I used to use these type of masks when I had really acne blemish skin, and if my skin was like it was then, I would be using this one for sure, because I really did like the formulation of this. It is a mousse, but it is also a clay mask, and so it's a bit lighter feeling than the normal kind of clay masks. And this one was a little bit different as well in that it didn't dry from memory, or it certainly didn't dry and crack, you know, the way they usually do. And I used to put a little bit of this on blemishes, but even if I got a spot now, I wouldn't turn to things like that. I would use like the little salicylic acid dots or the little hydrocolloid plaster dots, things like that, you know. So these are no good to me, unfortunately. This is the Silky Cleansing Oil from the Body Shop. This is my favourite cleansing oil of all time. I love it. It's really, it emulsifies very quickly. So you put it on your skin and it immediately turns to milk, but it gets every bit of eye makeup off. So I love that. You know, it doesn't sting my eyes, takes all of my makeup off very, very easily, but doesn't leave any kind of greasy feeling. So that is definitely my favourite. This is the Yester Cucumbers Micellar Water, and I love this just for the scent. You guys know I buy the Be Pure micellar water from Superdrug, and as micellar waters go, they're both identical. This Yester Cucumbers and that one are identical, but I just love this smells of cucumber. Cucumber is a fragrance that can go in things that isn't irritating, and I happen to love the smell, so I treat myself to this now and then. This is the Inky List PHA toner, and there's a tiny little bit left in there. I have almost used it up, but this is just not strong enough for me. I like something a little bit stronger, like a glycolic 7%, or using my lactic acid 10%, and because my skin is used to that, I don't need something milder. And the idea of a pH toner is that it is milder than an AHA or a BHA, so it's nice, and if you're looking for something gentle, then it would be a nice one to use. This is the Hylamide Sub-Q Skin. I think I bought this in there, you know, they had that kind of crazy sale where it was 23% off or something. I think I bought it then because a lot of you I know absolutely adore this. And it was nice to use, but I'm not that invested in the ingredients, and I didn't find anything amazing about using it feeling wise or results wise, so unfortunately it's not a repurchase for me. See, the only thing about having hair like this is I have to keep on spraying it, otherwise I'm going to be touching my hair all the way through and it will drive people crazy. I know it drives me crazy if I see people constantly touching their hair, but I'm just using this up. This So Sleek hairspray, in fact that's nearly an empty, you know. I didn't get it because using it with hairspray. I got it because occasionally I get really, really bad static in my hair. I don't know what happens, it's little periods of time where my hair is totally staticky and everything I'm touching I'm getting electric shocks on, and as soon as I use this it takes the static away, and so that's why I've had this for years. I remember I discovered it on the way back from my honeymoon. I don't know whether I went into Boots to buy something and just bought this and it happened to stop the static. Weird. It's the one that says So Sleek. It's only that one. The other ones don't do anything. Okay, skincare. Timeless 20% C plus E plus ferulic acid serum. You guys have been asking me to try this for a long time, but what it wasn't available in the UK, and then all of a sudden it was. So I ordered this and I was using it for a few days. It's down to about there. And I thought, you know what, it feels lovely, but it doesn't feel like a vitamin C, especially with the pH that they said it had. So I tested it using my pH meter and it was way higher than it was supposed to be. So I was like, okay, I don't know whether I got a Duff bottle or what, but that's that. Then I happened to get an email showing that they had a new packaging out. It's in an airless pump bottle. So I ordered that one and I'm currently using that. I have tested the pH on that and it is the right pH and it does feel completely different. So I will either do a dedicated review on that or it'll appear in favourites or it'll appear in fails or something like that, but I will update you. The hydration vaccine, you guys know I love this. I love it so much that I was really trying hard to get the rest of this out last night, but because my hands were slippy, it flew out my hands and my husband was like, what the hell are you doing? I was trying to squeeze the last little bit out of the top. I'm sure I can get more out of here, but I just love the hydration vaccine. I've never felt another product like this. It feels so silky but also matte, which kind of contradicts itself, doesn't it? But you put it on and it just feels like you're putting silk on your face, and then it sort of is like a matte finish, but it feels like you've plumped up your face. And I've used this as a night cream for a long time and really, really like it. I love it. I'm going to try and get that last little bit out and put it on my neck because it's great for your neck. See, there is probably quite a lot left there, but when you've got, you know, when you've put skincare on and your hands are already kind of oily or serumy or whatever, then it's hard to squeeze a pot like this, isn't it? Oh, it feels lovely. It just feels so nice. Okay, one more skincare item. See, that's it. Now my hands are all silky as well, which is not good. One more skincare item, and I have used up my Retirides. I just wanted to show you this, the 0.1% cream. I don't know whether it's still okay to order from Spain. I get a lot of questions about where can I get my tretinoin in the UK. You can get it from, I think it's called Dermatica, and they do a subscription where you pay them a monthly charge and they send you some monthly. So a lot of people asked if I could review that, but I haven't been using tretinoin. I've used this on my hands. I used it up on my hands. And I wouldn't want a subscription. I'm always changing things, always changing my mind. I got mine from, was it called Skin Store, I think, and I bought the Abaji one, so it was expensive. It was 90 something pound. So I don't know about the Retirize, what it's like nowadays, because that was a few years back when I got this. But I have used it up on my hands when I remember. And I don't think it's made any difference, to be honest. I've always had old looking hands. This nail polish, before I forget, is Madame Glam. It's, I think it might be called Amethyst. I'll have to remember and list it for you, but it's the Cat Eye collection. A lot of you ask when I wear that kind of polish. So let me start with this. This is the Visart Neutral Matte 01 palette, and to be honest, I haven't loved this since I got it. I bought this when there was all the hype about Visart shadows, and also when I wasn't really into mattes, because obviously they're all mattes. So I obviously just jumped on board and was like, I need to have that in my life. You know, I was buying quite a lot from Sephora at the time, and that's where I got it. Since having it, I have pulled it out many times and gone, you need to use this. You know, you spent whatever it was, £60 on it. And I've used it as an accompanying palette and never been that impressed. But then this happened. The lid came off, it broke. You know how they often do, where you've got those little metal things and a bit of the plastic breaks, and then that's it. So I'm not going to use it anymore. I have tried and tried and it hasn't worked for me. You guys know I love Visart shadows. I love the new, hold on a minute. Sorry about that, I needed to compose myself. Any of my ladies that have endometriosis, you will feel my pain. I'm having the cramps from hell. Just on the week where my head is pretty good as well, typical. Anyway, I've tried everything, it's not working for me, and that was the last straw. So, such a shame to throw it though, isn't it? I don't think I'm going to throw it. I think I've got an idea for my old cosmetics. This is the One Heck of a Blot Soap and Glory Foundation. Soap and Glory One Heck of a Blot Foundation. The funny thing about this is the reviews on the Boots website are not great, but I love this. I absolutely love it and will definitely buy it again. It looks like it's full, because I don't think the bottle is that colour. I think that is foundation, but I've had it so long, I think it's kind of stuck on the edges, and this is also kind of clogged up, but I can't get any more out. The terrible thing about this is there's only, I think, 5 or 6 shades maximum. And so I was lucky that I found a colour, Cool Sand, that does suit my skin when I've got a tan. But I just found the opposite to what everybody was saying about it. I found that it did last on me, that it did stay looking good. It's kind of medium to full coverage, but it doesn't look cakey. So yeah, it's maybe one to try. Keep an eye out, because it can't just work for me. They obviously are still selling it, so obviously it does work for some people. Okay, next is the NYX Fill and Fluff Brow Pencil. You may remember this because I showed it in a drugstore, then I showed it in favourites because I loved it. But what I loved about it was the brush. See, it's like one of those little artist's foundation brushes, but it's very soft. The other end is that typical thick eyebrow pencil that to me only works a couple of times until it's blunt, and then the only way to sharpen it is to kind of use a knife or a pair of scissors to chop it. It's just too much faff. So I knew I probably would not like that, but I thought, oh, I'll stick it in my makeup brush roll and use the brush for my brow. But what happens is every time I pull that out, this stays inside. So I suppose I could take the eyeliner off, clean that end, and then just have it as a brush like that, because the brush is really good. It's really unique. If there was a brush on its own like that, I would buy it. The difference between this and a spoolie is, and this will only apply, I think, if like me, you've still got gaps in your eyebrows. Even though I've had a microbladed, I still need to fill in. And if I use an eyebrow pencil and then a spoolie, it can sometimes just take colour off. So I'm often putting an eyeliner, an eyebrow pencil on. Sorry, the hoovering started there and I can't remember where I was at. I was saying that when you use this brush versus a spoolie, that's it. I'll apply the eyebrow pencil on my brow and then use the spoolie and it takes colour off. That's right. And so what happens is You put a bit on, spoolie it off, put a bit on, spoolie it off, and I feel like a lot gets wasted. Whereas with this little brush, it just blends it, because the idea is you want it to blend, you don't want it to look harsh. And that's what you can achieve with this, so love that. I might do that, I might actually, because there's only a little bit left anyway. It obviously didn't come with too much because I didn't use it for too long. And just use that as my eyebrow brush. Okay, still on brows, this is the Collection Incredibrow. So it was, do you remember, it was dirt cheap. I got a few things from the Collection. Boots is the make, I think it's Boots Collection, didn't it? Used to be Collection 2000, or am I making that up? Anyway, this I really like as holding the brows. So like if I put a little bit on the ends of my brows just now, it really holds them in place. But to use on its own, to define my brows, it's just too thin. Like, let's see if I can show you. No, it's not really showing there, but when I put it on with an eyebrow brush, it's too thin, and you need to like kind of wait for one layer to dry and then go in again. And the brows do look really nice once you're finished with this, but I just feel like it's too much work. It's, you know, it's an awful lot of work. So I should use it up just using it on top. Doesn't look too much of a different colour, does it? I know my brows need to be a bit lighter now that I've taken the colour out of my hair, but I thought about doing a video just on repurposing things and ideas of things you could do with products that you no longer want to use. But I don't know whether that would be really boring, because I found quite a few uses for things. There was the shampoo that I used as the body wash. There was another, don't know whether it was a shampoo or a body wash that I used to clean the bath. There was a leave-in conditioner that I used for the dog. You know, there are a few things like that. And actually a lot of them were ideas from my nan, because my nan used to use soap to clean, because she said she didn't want to use chemicals. I tell you, she was way ahead of her time, my nan. Okay, next, Exceptional Definition by number 7. It's a mascara. You guys know I'm like the fussiest woman in the world when it comes to mascara. I liked the look of this brush in that it's quite small, but it is a plastic brush, and I prefer a natural bristle brush. And this was okay, but I felt like it needed quite a few layers to get definition without clumps. It does give definition, but it clumps up a little bit, and so you need to kind of keep going over it to get rid of the clumps, and then it was quite difficult to remove. So all in all for me, just too much work, so not for me. Okay, next is the Trini foundation. This is in the colour Zandy. I'm going to put my finger in it because I will clean it if I'm, you know, selling it or whatever. Well, I tell you the idea I have for the cosmetics, because somebody will ask, I often get asked, what do you do with the things that you don't keep? And I've done several things over the years. When I was working in the hospital, I used to make up these little bags and sell them for £20 and put it on the intranet. And the nurses would always buy them, and I'd always be meeting a nurse somewhere or another and giving her a little bag of makeup. Then I started selling it on Facebook, but it was just too much hassle between taking photos, writing the description, then answering all the questions that would come in, and people saying, will you take this for it? Or are you selling that separately? Or, you know, what about if I buy this with this? You know, that kind of thing. Then having to try and get to the post office, which is just a nightmare here. It just wasn't worth the hassle. So then I discovered Give & Makeup in London. No, then I started... Do you know, I can't remember what order it went in, but I used to give makeup to the local women's shelter here. But then they stopped taking used makeup. They would only take new makeup. But then I discovered Give & Makeup in London, another women's shelter who would accept makeup. So I sent them a massive box a couple of times. But now they're no longer accepting boxes. So I'm kind of stuck. There's a few people I know that I could contact and you know, that used to buy the bags, that I've stayed in touch with since working in the NHS, but I actually want to do something a bit more charity-like with them. So what I was discussing it with my husband, and we were saying what I could do is keep everything, and then in however long, 6 months or a year, do a car boot sale, a kind of beauty car boot sale, and then give the proceeds to, it'll be an animal charity like the SSPCA or the one that I work with in Asia. So that's what I was thinking, but I don't know about storage or whatnot. Okay, foundation, back to the foundation. If I was going to sell this, then I would of course sanitize it before using it. But you can see that the colour is okay. The colour looked okay on me. I wouldn't say it was the perfect match, and I did use their matching service, if you like. And I think it's interesting how I came to buy this, because I've been asked by a lot of you to try Trini Cosmetics, and I can't afford to go and put in a massive haul this month, because I've done hauls, you know, I've bought other things, but I saw this being used by Trini on her face and neck. I keep meaning to ask on Instagram how many of you use foundation on your neck, so let me know how many of you use it on your neck, because that might solve a whole lot of problems for me if I use foundation on my neck. Like, as in, I wouldn't need to self tan, and you know, I could use one colour foundation and all of that. So I saw her using this. I think she used her fingers, and then she was using a sponge to blend it in, but she put it all over her face and neck, and it looked like quite good coverage. And she was saying that the idea of this is you don't want somebody to think you don't want somebody to say that's a lovely foundation. You want somebody to say your skin looks lovely. Ironically, I didn't think her skin looked that great. You know, I didn't think the foundation made her skin look that great, but I thought, well, you know what, let me give this foundation a try. I was surprised when it arrived in a little pot like this. I thought, oh, I think they've sent me this concealer instead, but actually it's not. This is the foundation. I'm just thinking, should I do a whole video on this? But I don't think so, because it's a fail. So why is it a fail? It's a fail because I actually didn't think the foundation looked that nice when it went on. I was using a cotton bud to dig some out and put it on my face, and then using a sponge to blend it in. It looked okay. It didn't last that great on me. It looked pretty awful within half a day. But also, just this is not, it's not super pigmented in that you could put a sponge in it and then put it on. That would give you a light coverage. You could probably put your brush in and get a bit more coverage. That's probably an easier way to do it, actually. But I don't love the packaging. I don't love the product. I just don't love it. The funny thing was, somebody left me a comment saying, and don't forget, you're only supposed to use it in the areas you need it. And I thought, well, that's really weird, because I've just seen Trini herself using it all over her face and neck. And they responded saying that she does change her approach a lot. So I don't know, I'm not convinced. But you guys, I think a lot of you have mentioned that the BB cream is pretty good. So tell me what you think. Should I try that one? It's really hard because I want to stop being so wasteful this year, but to stop being so wasteful, I could almost just stop buying things. You know, there's not many things that I would need to, that are consumables, I would need to keep on buying. So I'd almost have to stop YouTube. But the thought of doing like a big car boot sale and making money from it for charity, that makes me feel a little bit better. I need to make sure it doesn't push me the other way and I just buy things going, that's all right, I'll sell it, you know. Okay, this, I don't know what I was thinking buying this. I do know what I was thinking, but it just didn't, I didn't think it through. So this is the colour. This is the Physicians Formula Butter Blush. I've already got one in rosy pink and I really like it. I think it's lovely. I love the colour, love that it's not too powdery, but you don't have to build it up too much. It's just a beautiful colour, beautiful formula. This one is in Plum Rose. Does that look, tell me if I'm going mad, does that look like plum or rose to you? To me, that's beige. It just looks like plain beige to me. Anyway, I knew that in the shop. I could see that in the shop and I thought, oh, do you know what? That looks like a really light coloured bronzer. I'll use that as a bronzer. But then when I was looking at it when I got home, I was like, that's a cool colour. A bronzer is to warm you up. Like, why would you think that would work? I suppose that might work for contouring, but I've never contoured in my life. I've never even tried it, even though somebody left me a comment going, oh darling, you need to stop contouring your nose. I thought, I wouldn't have a bloody clue how to contour my nose. Anyway, yeah, it doesn't work for me. It looks ridiculous. And like I said, I don't contour, so I'm really not sure what to do with that. So that will be going as well. I didn't just buy the bronzer, by the way, because I know you guys love that, because one looked too orange and one looked too dark. I like a really light bronzer. The one that is my amazing holy grail, love it, is the Bare Minerals Invisibronze, and it no longer exists. It's so annoying when that happens. Anyway, 2 more items to tell you about. This is the Conceal and Hydrate by Revolution concealer. I got this because no matter what I put under my eyes, it draws attention to my fine lines. I'm kind of, that's it, that's the story. There is no concealer that is going to give me coverage but not show my fine lines more. That's just the way it is. Without makeup, I don't look like I've got as many lines. And then once you put foundation on, it highlights them a little bit more. The minute you then put, you know, concealer on and try to put more product on, it shows them even more. But the two that work for me are, there's a NARS one that's in a little pot that I've had for years, but of course not cruelty free, so I won't buy that one again, but I've still got quite a bit to use. But then the Bare Minerals Serum Concealer is about as good as it gets. but I'm still open to keep on trying. And because this one was conceal and hydrate, I thought with it being hydrating, it might be a bit better. It's a really good concealer, but it does show my fine lines. I'm better just using foundation, as I do most of the time. You know, just I wipe off any fallout from my eyeshadow and then I go back in with my foundation. I think if you're young and have no fine lines, this will work really well for you. And the final thing to tell you about is this. I absolutely loved this to death. It is the Alex Steiner Plump and Glow Plumping Lip Gloss. But every time I go to use it, this is what's happening. I'm trying to turn it and it won't undo because the top has cracked. And then underneath it is this now sticky top. So I suppose I could just take that off. But then you can see that I've pretty much used it up, but I have to, you know, like try and get it from the sides, and I just think it's time to buy a new one. And the problem I have, to show you what it looks like, because it is lovely. The problem I have with Primark is the queues. When I go into Edinburgh, I do go into Primark and the first thing I look at is the queues. And although they have a lot of people on the tills, sometimes, not always, the queue takes forever. And my knees are the most sore when I'm just standing still. And also I don't normally have time. I'm normally like, you know, doing a couple of hours shopping before I meet my friend for lunch if I go into Edinburgh. So I will definitely buy another one of these the next time I'm in looking or buying something else. But I love it because it's not sticky. It feels like a lip balm, but it just gives you something. It stops liquid lipsticks looking matte, but it also doesn't take them off. You know, it doesn't suddenly mean that you've got no lipstick on. So really like that. Okay, that's everything. Finally, please keep your fingers crossed. Well, you won't be able to because you won't know, but I really hope that this footage is okay because I'm so bored of seeing these things. I hope that you enjoyed that. Like I said, if there's anything there where I was like, this is amazing, you need to have it, I'll link it for you. I can't link the lip gloss because to my knowledge, they don't do it online. I'll check again. Yeah, that's everything. My makeup today is, what's the foundation I used? Oh, it's the Kat Von D True Portrait. Can never remember the colour, but I'll put it in the description. On my eyes is the Huda Beauty Nude Obsessions palette. I used the matte colours. I'm really pleased with how it came out actually. And then on top of that, I used a Colourpop colour called Twitter Pated. Then on my cheeks is the blush by Illamasqua in Lover. Another one that I don't know if it exists or not. If they exist, I'll link it for you. And then on my lips is a Colourpop colour called Slacker. Well, it's on top of a liquid lipstick, but I'm about to do a Colourpop haul, so I'll go through my whole makeup there. That's everything. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll speak to you again soon.